Hello everyone, today we have new video review and this time we are going to check fresh release from Special Hobby. So it's a 1/48 scale kit and it copies Grunau Baby IIB and it was also called as a Nord 1300. It's edition which is named over Western Europe, and this is completely new kit. It should be available from 10th of June, but here we have a commercial sample and we are able to check it in advance, so you will know what will be in this kit. First of all, packaging here is quite light, even though box is relatively large. Here you can see comparison with my hand. Inside there are a few parts, but it can be understood when you take a look at the box art, because aircraft itself is quite simple and it's just 1/48 scale kit. Nevertheless, it's full metal forms kit, so it should be quite detailed, and that's why it is interesting to take a look. And of course, from the sides we have some information that it's made in Czech Republic. Here from the opposite side you can see some safety advices and QR code for kit info page. But we are going to open it and check what is actually supplied here. It's a top opening box, as you can see, and here you can take a look at what is actually included inside. So as I said, that's why it is light, because all parts fit on one plastic bag, on one sprue, and they are packed together with decals, and here we have assembly manual. So we are going to start with plastic, of course, and then gradually we will move to assembly manual and also check the decals sheet. And as far as you can see, there should be also clear part, because as you remember, there is a transparent canopy. Okay. In the meantime, let me remind you that you can support us financially. We have special support button on our website, and it is done via PayPal, so it should be relatively safe and fast. And of course, you will decide how much you will get for new photo and video equipment, so it's just a matter of clicking one button and deciding how much you want to help us. So here we have one and only plastic sprue. Why I'm checking it? Because this wing parts, I was confused, because I was expecting this wing to be molded as a single piece part, but it should be actually glued out of two halves. And here you can see also fuselage halves, you can see tail surfaces. Ailerons are molded separately. The same can be said about the landing skis and some cockpit elements. But now we are going to zoom in so that you can see everything closer. So here are these parts. Just give me a sec. Okay, so what do we have here is quite nice. I would say external detailing. As you can see, we have special guiding points for wing struts, if we can say so. Here you can see also the tail surfaces. It's a tail wing together with elevators. They're molded together as a single piece element. Next we continue with cockpit 4 here, and here we have a separate tail fin. From what I can see, actually this is a rudder. It's a separate rudder, because here on the fuselage half you can see that we have part of the tail fin, so rudder will be placed on the top and it will be done. Of course there are no panel lines, I would say, because this aircraft was full, not textile, but it was not made out of metal. And here you can see also it was fabric. Now I finally remember this word. So now here we have some minor parts for the cockpit, and by the way, here you can see instrument panel. Somehow I missed it, but it looks, I would say, decent for 1/48 scale kit. And of course nobody stops you from detailing it with some dry brushing and also detailing the dials on the instrument panel, because there are no instrument dials in the decals sheet, so you have to do everything with your own hands. Here we continue with wing part. It's I think the top half, so as you can see it is pretty much the same as what we saw on the previous part. Here you can see separate ailerons which are molded as one-piece parts, and of course some more minor elements for internal detailing, and this landing ski which looks quite nice. If we flip it over, here inside you can see that we have on the wing parts we have guiding pins on the leading edge, so it should be quite useful for easier alignment. And here you have to delete these push rods, but it's not such a difficult task and it's not such a serious problem, I would say. But it's really cool that we have guiding pins, and we also have them on fuselage parts. It's also quite a good point for this kit, because sometimes kits for not that popular subjects, they're not as detailed and not as engineered, let's say, as this one. So it's really cool to see such level of detailing. And as far as you can see, cockpit should be quite plain. We can say it's straight, so I would recommend to spend some time painting and weathering all these parts. They should be visible on the finished model, so it will be, I would say, nice investment of your time in order to get a nice result. Next we go on with canopy part, so it is packed into a separate plastic bag in order to avoid any possible scratches. Of course there are no masks included, so you will have to do everything with your own hands. And if we zoom in, now you should be able to see it. So here we have this part. Molding quality looks really good. I don't have any complaints about it. It looks, I would say, on the top level among today's kits. So it's just a matter of covering it with mask and of course closing this open area because it will be open on your kit as well. But other than that, I don't see any difficulties with this element. Next we go on with this plastic bag which packs decal sheet, so just give me a second to open it. And straight away I can say that I'm a bit surprised that there are no decals for the cockpit. So there are only external decals, and I will show it in a second. So here it is. We have several marking options obviously, but there are no cockpit decals as I said before. Printing quality looks nice. And I can guess that it also comes from Edward, just like previous kits in Special Hobby, and previous decals I would say in Special Hobby kits. So printing quality looks really good and it should be easy to work with these decals. And as you can see, they have, I would say, more or less right colors. So the final result should look really good. And here you can see some other decals. Okay. And next, I don't see any other possible bonuses, so we are going to continue with assembly manual. Just give me a second to zoom out a bit. So it's a typical, I would say, Special Hobby brochure. It is printed on in large format. It is printed in color. Here we have short history note in Czech and English. And there are some interesting information included. So we have info about wingspan. So Rio aircraft had 13 meters wingspan, which is quite impressive, and length was just 6, so it's twice the length. Here we have parts map, and note that only one part won't be used. And by the way, the overall printing quality, it's more thick paper as you can see, so it feels more sturdy I would say, and should be easier to work with. Here we have the frontal view of the finished model and paint chart in several actually this is a Gunzi, not several manufacturers, it's only Gunzi and Mr. Hobby. Next we start assembly process with cockpit obviously. So just like on the Rio aircraft, cockpit won't be as, I would say, detailed because it was quite plain on the Rio Grunau Baby. So that's why here we install just few parts inside, we paint them, and it will be pretty much whole assembly process I would say. Here you can see large pedals. It is quite surprising to see such parts. Then straight on the step 4 we are closing fuselage halves together and installing the cockpit floor in between. Next we continue with this back pad, and you will have also to drill several holes. As you can see, there are precise dimensions on where to drill these holes, so be careful because it might be easy to confuse the right length and drill it in some different, I would say, position. Next we continue with landing gear ski. Here we install the combing panel, if we can say so, for the instrument panel. Here we continue with tail surfaces and also these special struts for the tail wings. As you remember, main wing is assembled out of 2 halves. Here we install ailerons, then ailerons from the right side, then wing goes onto the fuselage, and there are special struts which will be actually holding it in place. Next we continue with canopy part, and it's written dry feed first. This is quite interesting. I'm not sure why it is like this, maybe so that you can get a perfect fitment before installation, because it's a clear part, so there won't be a lot of freedom in the alignment. Next we continue with wiring on both sides, so be ready to have your own to use on this model. Here we have first 2 marking options, and overall format of this marking guide is slightly different to what we are used to see in Special Hobby kits. It is understandable, but it is different. So here we have two aircraft, one from Great Britain 1951 and another one from France 1951. And here we have third marking option. It comes from Spain and it is also... no, it's 1962. It will be quite interesting to copy this color because, as you can see, it's a mix of several colors, so be sure to use the right proportions for mixing. So as I said, this kit will be available in the mid of June, and of course I will be happy to hear your opinion about such simple yet detailed aircraft in 1/48 scale. It's completely different from what we are used to see all these prop aircrafts. So of course write it here in the comment section below. If you like this video, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today and bye!